Good morning, fitness, nutrition, and mindset enthusiasts. This is Mark Boney with Supercharger Wellness, and I just want to give you guys a quick little ab shot. It is really starting to come in, like a lot more. The last week or so. The cuts and the leaning out are, I'm still fat for stage, but it's probably pretty close to the leanest I've ever been at this body mass. So just going to keep moving forward with this, and that leads me into the discussion that I want to have today, and that is the discussion of faith. What is faith? How can faith help us? And I can tell you from a place that I came from to where I am now that faith has been a huge pivotal thing for me in my ability to get through difficult times. And I was brought to a point in my life in 2012 where I had a decision to make. And my life at that point was either going to go one of two ways. And road number one was the path that I knew. And I knew where it was going to go. I knew how it was going to go. And I knew where it was going to lead. And it wasn't going to be good. And road number two was the road less traveled, was the road that I didn't know where I was going, what I was going to do, how I was going to get there. Absolute crippling fear of the unknown. But it had to have been better than road number one. So it was at that point that I decided to, through some deep reflection and thought, come to a decision and to have faith in something that I didn't understand to bring me through to the other side. And I haven't reached the other side yet, but I can tell you that decision that I made in 2012 changed my life. And that was a decision to take a path that I was unaware of, to take the road less traveled and to go into that with absolute faith that something somehow was going to help me get through this trial, this tribulation. And we can relate these kinds of trials and tribulations to anything in life. Like, they don't have to be such big things like that was for me back then. It just, even to talk about this contrast prep in that light, this has been something that I have been playing with in my mind for many years. The idea of getting on stage, the idea of getting to that place where you are just 100% dedicated to doing everything in your power to get on stage on that day and look the absolute best you can. And there is planning and preparation and hard work involved every single day. I have put a lot even into the last 2.5 weeks. And I still have 9.5 more to go. And it is exhausting. I respect anyone who has done this and done well and persevered through it. It is grueling. It takes a lot out of you. In other areas of your life, I have had to make sacrifices in certain areas so that I can focus 100% on this. And then, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to win. I don't know if anything's going to come of it, but I have this feeling that something good is going to come of it. Something good is coming my way as a result of all this hard work and dedication. And, if I can help people along the way to focus, refocus, whatever it is, so that they can implement some good, healthy habits into their lives to improve their own well-being, then that is a good start for me. So I want to talk about faith a little bit. And I know not religion, but faith. And what is faith for me? Faith for me is faith in some sort of higher power. And what I believe in is like universal consciousness, or energies and frequencies that are in and around us. They make us up, and they're in between us, and they connect us, and they connect everything in this universe. And that is what I believe in. I was raised Catholic, and I do not subscribe to any sort of dogma. But I have developed my own through a lot of searching and a lot of self-sacrifice and a lot of hardship. My faith was sprung out of extreme hardship, and that's the only way that I was able to acquire that. So faith in a higher power, and faith in myself, and lack of confidence or self-confidence is huge for a lot of people. I know it was for me, and has a lot to do with the things you're told growing up and the peer group that you surround yourself with. Your environment plays a big factor in that. And I had to come to a place where I was willing to believe in myself again and know that, I have what it takes to make it in this world, to do what's necessary to be successful. And that is a huge step in itself. And there's ups and downs, and there's highs and lows every day in life. And if you can muster up the mental prowess to believe in yourself and believe in something that's guiding you along the way, that's a good start on moving towards some positive change in life. Now, one of the biggest things I think that we have for ourselves is the ability to recognize our thoughts. And our thoughts are so important. They are everything. What we think about constantly becomes us. It manifests into who we are, how we portray outwardly, what we bring into our lives, the successes, the failures, the positivity or negativity. I don't think we're responsible for the way we're brought up, the way that we interpret the world to a certain degree. But as adults, we're responsible to change for the better, to improve our lives. Like they say, well, it's not your fault that you became alcoholic. It is your responsibility to do something about it after the fact. So that's basically saying, like, I can't sit here and blame people for my problems. I may not be the cause of that problem initially, but I am definitely 100% responsible to do something about that problem. Okay, so faith comes into play huge in a lot of these things, and just any trial and tribulation in life. Like, I constantly question myself, and self-doubt is a prevalent force. And I was taught through some spiritual reading that I did that we need to banish self-doubt. And some people may call it ego or whatever, being too sure of yourself. And I call that bullshit. I say, if you are sure of your abilities, sure of your capability to follow through and stick to the plan and work hard to achieve what you want to achieve, then you can absolutely do that. Now, to just think about something and expect it to appear in front of you is absolute nonsense. Faith without works is dead. So not only do we have to have the faith in ourselves and the faith in something greater than us to guide us through life, we have to do the work involved, because nobody is coming to knock on our door to hand us a check for $1 million or whatever it is that you desire. Those things have to be brought into our lives through hard work and dedication. But it's those rough times when you're working hard and you're dedicated, and you still feel like it's not enough, and you still feel like things aren't going the way you want them to go, and you're still feeling like a failure. What do we do with those thoughts? What do we do with those self-deprecating, doubtful, negative thoughts, negative self-talk that we put into our minds and we express outwardly onto the people around us through different things like jealousy, envy, etc.? What do we do with those kinds of thoughts? Do we allow them to persist and control our thinking? Because if that occurs, we will get just that. Or do we banish those thoughts? Look yourself in the mirror, a real good look, and tell yourself something along the lines of, I am a champion. I have what it takes. I can do this. With the help of God or whatever it is, nothing can stop me. And go out into the world with your head held high and make the connections that you need to make with the right people, and do the work that's required to achieve your goals. I think that's what a lot of people are missing. People focus a lot on the mental, physical aspect of health and wellness, but they don't touch on the spiritual aspect. And I was taught that all illness, all sickness of the mind and spirit comes from spirituality, and all good things start from there too. So if we center ourselves in spirituality, then our mental and physical will manifest accordingly. Now, if we're missing that component of the triangle, it's like the Triforce from Zelda. If we're missing that component of the triangle, there's a hole. We'll have the mental, we'll have the physical, and we'll always be searching to fill the hole. And the hole is the vice. And as long as we fill the vice with something other than God or spirituality or faith or good orderly direction, whatever the heck you want to call it, as long as we continue to reach out for the drug, the person, the accolades, the likes, there's a million things you could probably list off right now that people do to fill the void. Food, whatever it is, you will constantly try to fill that void with something, and that something will become overbearing and manifest itself into the physical and into the mental, and we will be distressed. So without ranting, I think I stated what my thoughts are pretty good on that. So I could reiterate myself, but I'll cut myself short right there because the video is starting to get a little long. And just, it's something to think about, right? And I'm not saying you have to go to church and pray and do all these things, but I have an awareness of myself and awareness of my surroundings now. And I'm very in tune with those things. And I'm very in tune with the people around me as well. And as well, their intentions or their actions. I don't listen to what people say anymore. I watch what they do. And if they don't do the things that they say, then I cut them. And I cut them very quickly. I do not have time for nonsense and BS anymore in my life. I have children. I have a business to build. I have a life to build. And I have people to help. Because there's a lot of information up here. There's a lot of useful information up here. And I'm trying to translate it for all you great people to try to improve your lives, because I have been through some shit. And, there's a lot of people who have been through some shit, but, I have been through some things that have brought me to a place where I am able to give back now. And that is my goal. That is my goal, to try to help people improve their mindset and improve their life. And if I can do that little by little, then that's a great start for me. Anyways, I have to get moving because I have egg whites to eat and oatmeal to eat and things to do. So this is Mark from Supercharger Wellness signing off. Let's get supercharged.